Was I happy this guy won? 100% I was. Then the guy pulled out the knife and fucking yanked it in.
Just when I thought we were out, Doug Ford pulls us back in. Doug Ford is now back in bed with Elon Musk following his decision to pause all retaliatory measures over the pause in the tariff battle between Canada and the US. So, in this video, I'm going to focus in on this and discuss why this contract, this $100 million contract with Starlink, should still be canceled. And that money either given to the communities or given to another bidder that was attempting to get this contract. So, Doug Ford on Twitter discussing, hey, we have good news. We're pausing the retaliatory measures. So, good news from bird's eye view. Good news, of course, that this trade war is not going through, at least for the next 30 days. I replied to that saying, you still need to cancel the Starlink contract. It was a horrible deal. Their market is rural customers. You don't need to hand them $100 million for customers they want anyway. Give that money to the rural communities to decide how to use it. What's also incredible about this is that Starlink was already offering services in remote regions in Ontario. Now, not necessarily everywhere in Ontario. I assume this government deal, this $100 million, was to expand that, but it's not as if they're on the ground having to, lay down the wires. These are satellites. They can decide to target where they want to target. So they were going to, with this extra money, target more customers, which the the math on this is so stupid. As Jasmine broke down here, Ford was paying more per connection than the individual subscription price. It's $100 million for 15,000 people or companies. 15,000 accounts, $100 million. That's nuts. And again, these are customers they want anyway. Paying somebody to operate it's like paying McDonald's to open up shop in New York City. It's like there's going to be people there that want to buy a Big Mac and fries. You don't have to pay the company to open up business. And it's even crazier than that because, again, these are not brick and mortar stores. These are not. They're not laying down copper wire. These are companies that already have many, many, many satellites in space, and we're already targeting rural areas. So, just to put a button on this, the contract was signed in November. Meant to provide high-speed internet access through company satellite service to 15,000 eligible homes and businesses in rural, remote, and northern communities in by June of this year. Earlier in the day, Green Party leader Mike Schreiner, Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie, and NDP leader Merritt Stiles all said the province's contract with Starlink was a bad deal from day one, and they are 100% correct. So, first, there are many reasons to cancel the Starlink deal. First of all, even before this tariff battle. But here's one good reason. You want to hand $100 million to someone's company who is a Nazi? Oh, but he is just giving his heart out to the crowd in a very Hitler way. Well, if there was any confusion about who Elon Musk was or is, a few days later, he went to a far-right German party event telling them to move beyond their past guilt. The billionaire was received with cheers while addressing an Alternative for Germany rally where he told attendees they shouldn't be ashamed of their history. This is often referred to as the modern-day neo-Nazi party in Germany. AfD is considered by Germany's domestic intelligence service to be a suspected extremist organization. The party's youth arm and its regional AfD branches in 3 of Germany's 16 states are classified as confirmed right-wing extremist. This is enough of a reason to not hand him a $100 million government contract. But we can keep going. Another issue here is security risks. This story from Wired a couple of years ago, the hacking of Starlink terminals has begun. So it cost a researcher only $25 worth of parts to create a tool that allows custom code to run on the satellite dishes. So this hacker physically stripped down a dish he purchased and created a custom hacking tool that can be attached to the Starlink dish. The hacking tool, a custom circuit board known as a mod chip, uses off-the-shelf parts that cost around $25. Once attached to the Starlink dish, the homemade printed circuit board is able to launch a fault injection attack, temporarily shorting the system to help bypass Starlink security protections. This glitch allows Wooters, the hacker, to get into previously locked parts of the Starlink system. Now, they went on to uh, issue updates for this, but this was still an issue apparently for the existing hardware. So the underlying issue can't be fixed unless the company creates a new version of the main chip. All existing user terminals are vulnerable, Wooters says. This is one example of a security risk. Another example is just what Elon Musk is doing right now in with USAID. So the wiretap, Americans, Elon Musk is coming for your personal data. Forbes goes over this, a bit of this, where they go on to say alarm bells have gone into overdrive after he attempted takeovers of USAID, where Doge was reportedly seeking access to classified material. And as New Republic breaks down here in their piece, does Elon Musk even have security clearance to access sensitive data? The answer is no. And particularly the people that he is working with, or the ones that are actually doing the work, they don't have clearance. They go on to write Musk and his staffers at the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, have had seemingly unfettered access to federal databases containing social security numbers, home addresses, medical histories, and other sensitive data. Last week, Musk's team was spotted installing a commercial email server into the Office of Personal Management in what many consider to be a massive security risk. The server gave the uncleared team potential access to onboarding, job performance reviews, and government employee healthcare details, which could violate HIPAA laws. It is that I'm sure many of you that follow this closely are already well aware of this, but the degree to which Elon Musk has been given control of certain aspects of the US government that anybody simply should not have access to is insane. This is, you could argue right now, in terms of just US politics, you could argue this is the worst thing happening right now in what they are doing in the just complete elimination of departments without Congress at all. Just this decisions made by Elon Musk willy nilly because of this role he's been given to cut wasteful spending. It's been wild to witness from my position. But is this the kind of person you want to hand a $100 million government contract to? He also, other privacy issues. Elon Musk hit with 9 complaints of breaching EU privacy rules to train AI model. So the European Center for Digital Rights alleges that X made the change unlawfully to collect the data of more than 60 million X users in the EU. Twitter is the next US company to suck up EU users' data to train AI. Quote, Twitter started irreversibly feeding European users' data into its Grok AI technology in May 2024 without ever informing them or asking for their consent. Think of the amount of information of Canadian customers that Elon Musk is going to have access to through this government contract. Elon Musk, you could argue Trump's closest ally, considering how much he is doing right now within the US government. All while this ongoing battle between Canada and the US on tariffs is still ongoing. It's not over. There's a pause for 30 days. But even apart from that, at this point, can Canada really trust the Trump administration that nothing else is going to pop up over the next 4 years? And in the meantime, you're going to hand Elon Musk this massive contract? So this gets to Doug Ford's past. This is worth bringing up here in the context of what's going on. This is a clip from 2016.
Are you still a supporter of Donald Trump?
Absolutely. I wouldn't waver. Like the GOP's wavering, I wouldn't waver.
He wouldn't waver. That was posted in response to the initial discussion around these tariffs back in November, where Doug Ford was raising alarms about them. But it's okay. That was 2016. A lot of people were fooled back then, right? People were fooled, even though it was quite clear from the beginning of that. I still, people argue, oh, it's okay to be fooled, but back in 2016, I've argued that it's, if you were fooled in 2016, you could be redeemed. But like, he started his campaign by fear mongering Mexicans. Like, there was never any question about what he was. But okay, whatever. 2016. This is 2019 now.
So, God bless the president. And don't get me wrong, full disclosure, I'm a big Republican. I'm a supporter, conservative minded. And
All right, deep into the Trump administration, Doug Ford still calling himself a Republican. Look, you can say you're conservative. You don't have to say you're Republican, but he was still saying he's Republican. And to be clear, the way he ends that sentence is that video cuts off. He goes on to say, but this protectionism, it's just not going to work. So he's talking about, he was critical of Trump's protectionism, again, critical of the tariffs. So not a fan of that. Good. But he apparently didn't take this lesson into the next election. So this just came out. This is Doug Ford on a hot mic moment. Listen to what he says here.
In the election day, was I happy this guy won? 100% I was. Then the guy pulled out the knife, fucking yanked it in.
All right, I tried to clean up the audio there, but in case it wasn't clear, he said, quote, on election day, was I happy this guy won? 100% I was. Then the guy pulled out the knife and effing yanked it in me. How were you still fooled after all these years? After what he was talking about when it came to tariffs? How were you fooled again? This gets to judgment, the complete lack of judgment that Doug Ford has. And that has been showcased again and again and again and again. This not SpaceX, this Starlink contract is just the recent example. Him being fooled by Trump is just a recent example, another example. But we are talking about issues like outsourcing nursing to staffing agencies, having to pay them double than just hiring nurses directly, allowing private clinics to propagate, charging the province more than double for procedures that are OHIP covered, or Service Ontario locations, moving some of those into American companies like Staples and Walmart, which ended up costing the government more than they were expecting. Or the Greenbelt scandal, which I covered in this channel many times before. We are talking scandal after scandal after scandal. And the Greenbelt one, in case you're not in Ontario and aren't aware, that's where he attempted to sell off public land that was protected land that he said he was going to protect. He's on video saying it, and I covered this, on video saying he would protect this land, went to try and sell it to his real estate buddies. Like, issue after issue with this guy. And look, I love the hat. Canada's not for sale. Fantastic hat. And that's going to work on a lot of people. This working with Trudeau and this response to the tariffs is going to work on a lot of people. And to be fair, it's a great hat. The response on tariffs has been fantastic. Those are great things. But keep in mind, the leader of the Liberal Party, the NDP, the Green Party, none of these people would have made the same mistakes when it came to healthcare, when it came to privatization that Doug Ford has made. And on top of that, they also, of course, would be working with the rest of Canada in a Team Canada approach to any kind of threat from the US. So it's just, this is not the guy to lead the province. But let's hope, in lieu of that, because again, I'm not going to, me as one person on YouTube, I'm not changing the results of the Ontario election. I don't have that kind of power. But let's just hope there is more scrutiny on how stupid this contract with Elon Musk is. At the very least, let's push to get that canceled.